Imagine this. A cave woman curls up on a bed of soft furs inside her dimly lit cave. Outside, the icy wind lashes against rocks and trees, but inside, she drifts effortlessly into a deep, restorative sleep. No memory foam mattress, no blackout curtains, no melatonin supplements, yet she sleeps better than most humans today. How did she manage this? In this video, we explore the surprising secrets behind her perfect rest and what modern humans can learn from the sleeping habits of our Ice Age ancestors. Picture this, a cave woman stretching beneath the early morning sky, the first rays of the sun piercing through the misty valley. Long before alarm clocks and smartphones existed, her body was entirely in tune with nature's cues. Her sleep wasn't dictated by artificial schedules, but by the rise and fall of the sun, the changing seasons, and the subtle rhythm of the natural world around her. In the Ice Age, daylight was both a signal and a guide. Extended hours of sunlight during summer meant longer periods of activity, hunting, and gathering, while the dark, frigid winters called for rest and conservation of energy. Our ancestors' circadian rhythms, the internal biological clocks regulating sleep and wake cycles, were finely tuned to these environmental cues. Unlike modern humans, who often battle blue light from screens or inconsistent schedules, cave women lived entirely by natural light. As dusk approached, melatonin production naturally increased, signaling the body to wind down. Temperature also played a critical role. Nights were freezing, yet exposure to cold before sleep had a paradoxical benefit. When she huddled near the fire or burrowed into a bed of furs, her body's core temperature gradually dropped, preparing her for deep sleep. Studies today show that a cooler sleeping environment improves REM cycles and overall sleep quality, something cave women experienced naturally. Unlike heated rooms or electronic gadgets, the cold nights of the Ice Age forced the body into physiological patterns that modern humans now artificially recreate. Welcome to Before Flame. Fire. If you enjoyed traveling back in time with me, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next journey into our ancient past. Now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? It'll make me so happy to see our community connecting from all around the world. And most importantly, if this video make you just imagine the Stone Age, or actually feel what it was like to live as a caveman or cavewoman, share your thoughts below. I'm excited to read them all. Moreover, cave women didn't just sleep because it was dark, they slept strategically. Energy conservation was a matter of life and death. Hunting, gathering, and caring for the community demanded enormous caloric expenditure. Sleep allowed the body to recover, restore energy, and even strengthen the immune system. Their sleep cycles likely included multiple stages, from deep restorative slumber to lighter periods of alertness, ensuring they could respond to environmental threats if necessary. Unlike today's fragmented sleep, interrupted by notifications or stress, their rest was holistic, uninterrupted, and biologically aligned. Another key factor was the seasonal variation of light. During long winters, days were short, and nights stretched for what might feel like eternity to the modern eye. Cave women adapted by sleeping longer during these dark months, essentially hibernating in small bursts to conserve energy. In contrast, summer brought longer daylight, and sleep shortened, aligning with longer periods of activity and food availability. This natural ebb and flow optimized both survival and health, showing an intuitive understanding of biological rhythms that modern humans often overlook. Living so closely with nature also meant cave women experienced minimal artificial disturbances. There were no loud noises, constant illumination, or climate-controlled environments to disrupt their rest. The only sounds were the natural rhythms of the cave, crackling fires, distant animal calls, and the wind whispering through the landscape. These sensory cues, often absent in modern sleep environments, provided subconscious signals that further regulated their rest. Their bodies had also evolved alongside these rhythms. Humans in the Ice Age likely had higher melanin levels in skin and hair to optimize sunlight absorption during short days and protect from overexposure during summer. Their circadian systems were more robust, enabling a consistent sleep-wake pattern even in varying light conditions. The alignment of biology and environment created a sleep experience far more restorative than most modern humans can achieve. Finally, consider the psychological aspect. Cave women lived in a world where survival was constant work, finding food, maintaining fire, crafting clothing, and protecting the community. Sleep was not just physical recovery, it was a reprieve, a safe haven. The knowledge that their shelter was secure, that the fire would keep predators at bay, and that their community was nearby contributed to a sense of safety, which is crucial for deep sleep. Modern humans often struggle with insomnia despite comfortable beds because underlying stress and disconnection from natural rhythms impede restorative rest. In summary, the natural sleep rhythms of cave women were a symphony of light, temperature, seasonal adaptation, and psychological security. Their bodies and environments worked in perfect harmony, creating a level of sleep quality modern humans can only attempt to replicate with technology, supplements, or controlled environments. By observing and aligning with natural cues, cave women achieved deep, restorative, and energy-efficient sleep, setting a standard that modern sleep science is only beginning to understand. As the day progresses in the Ice Age, the environment continues to play a crucial role in regulating a cave woman's sleep quality. Unlike modern humans, whose sleep is often disrupted by artificial lights, temperature control, or constant background noise, our ancestors were fully immersed in the natural world. Every sensory input, from the cold bite of morning air to the subtle sounds of distant animals, shaped their physiological and psychological readiness for rest. One of the most significant environmental influences was temperature fluctuation. Daytime activity exposed cave women to the elements. The warmth of the sun, the biting chill of mountain winds, and the shifting cold of snowy valleys. These fluctuations primed the body for sleep. Research today shows that moderate exposure to cold during waking hours enhances melatonin production at night, helping initiate deeper sleep cycles. By evening, after a long day of gathering, hunting, or maintaining shelter, the contrast between their cooled body and the warmth of a carefully maintained fire created optimal conditions for restorative rest. Natural light also played a dominant role. The absence of artificial light meant that sunrise and sunset dictated activity and rest patterns. At dawn, the gradual increase of sunlight gently roused the cave woman from sleep, aligning with her circadian rhythm. At dusk, the diminishing light signaled the body to wind down. Seasonal shifts amplified this effect. In winter, with its short days, the prolonged darkness encouraged longer sleep, effectively conserving energy during periods of scarce resources. Summer's long days, in contrast, allowed for extended activity and shorter rest periods. The natural synchronization of sleep to light cycles reduced insomnia, a condition modern humans increasingly face due to blue light from screens or irregular schedules. Sound was another subtle, yet powerful influence. Inside a cave, sounds were naturally muted. Outside, the environment provided a rhythmic backdrop, the rustling of leaves, the distant roar of waterfalls, the howls of wolves, or the cries of birds. These natural sounds, unlike the random disruptions of urban life, offered predictable auditory patterns, contributing to a sense of safety and allowing the brain to relax into sleep. Scientists today recognize that consistent, non-threatening environmental sounds can improve sleep quality, a principle cave women experienced intuitively. Air quality and ventilation further enhanced sleep. Caves, while enclosed, were naturally ventilated through openings that allowed fresh air to circulate, carrying subtle scents of moss, earth, and the outside environment. This pure air, free of pollutants or chemical irritants, promoted deeper breathing and oxygenation during sleep, aiding recovery and energy restoration. In modern contexts, we often overlook the role of air quality in sleep, but for cave women, every breath was a contributor to overall health and restfulness. Interestingly, the position within the cave mattered too. Choosing spots shielded from drafts, elevated above cold floors, or near a fire allowed cave women to regulate their microclimate. A slightly raised sleeping platform of furs and moss insulated from cold stone, while the strategic placement near embers provided consistent warmth. The interplay of heat, cold, and ambient environmental cues created a perfect sleep microenvironment, something most modern humans struggle to achieve despite expensive bedding and climate-controlled rooms. Natural circadian cues also extended into social dynamics. Cave women lived in tight-knit communities, and collective behavior reinforced sleep schedules. When one member prepared the evening fire, gathered food, or tended to children, others could observe and adapt, creating a communal rhythm that regulated activity and rest. Social cues like these synchronized sleep-wake cycles across the group, enhancing collective vigilance while ensuring restorative rest. In essence, the environment and community together acted as a natural sleep regulator, fine-tuning both body and mind. Finally, it's worth noting the psychological security that the environment provided. The cave itself, strategically chosen for safety and shelter, offered protection from predators, wind, and snowstorms. Fire provided both warmth and reassurance. Knowing that their surroundings were safe allowed cave women to relax completely, an essential factor for entering deep sleep. Modern humans, surrounded by artificial security and stressors, often struggle to achieve this same sense of safety, which contributes to fragmented and shallow sleep cycles. In summary, cave women slept better not only because of their biology but because of the intimate interplay with their environment. Temperature, light, sound, air quality, spatial positioning, social cues, and psychological security all combined to create a sleep system that was holistic, natural, and remarkably effective. These environmental influences, so seamlessly integrated into daily life, made their sleep restorative and energy efficient, something modern humans continue to chase with technology and supplements. Another critical factor contributing to the remarkable sleep of cave women was the intense physical activity of daily life. Unlike modern humans, whose days are often sedentary, cave women's routines demanded constant movement. Hunting, gathering, building shelter, maintaining fires, and caring for children engaged every major muscle group, stimulating cardiovascular and metabolic systems. This physical exertion naturally led to greater sleep pressure, the body's biological drive for rest. After a long day navigating icy tundras or dense forests, their muscles were fatigued, metabolism elevated, and sleepiness pronounced, allowing for deep, uninterrupted slumber. The type of movement also mattered. Hunting required bursts of high-intensity activity, chasing prey, climbing rocks, and using spears or traps, while foraging involved sustained, moderate activity, like walking long distances through snow-covered terrain. These alternating activity patterns optimized the body's energy use and reinforced natural circadian rhythms. Modern exercise science confirms that a balance of high-intensity and moderate activity improves sleep quality and deep sleep duration, showing that cave women's lifestyle naturally aligned with principles we now recognize as essential for restorative rest. Diet and nutrition played an equally significant role. Cave women's meals were nutrient-dense, consisting of fatty meats, protein-rich game, nuts, seeds, and seasonal plants. These foods provided stable energy throughout the day, avoiding the sugar spikes and caffeine crashes that disrupt modern sleep. High-protein meals and healthy fats supported neurotransmitter function, including serotonin and melatonin production, which regulate sleep-wake cycles. By contrast, modern diets high in processed foods, refined sugars, and stimulants often impair the body's natural ability to enter deep sleep. Meal timing was also critical. Food was typically consumed in alignment with daylight hours, with heavier meals earlier in the day to fuel activity, and lighter meals in the evening to avoid taxing digestion during sleep. Eating near firelight not only provided warmth but also helped conserve energy, creating a cozy environment conducive to winding down. This synchronization of diet, activity, and environmental cues allowed the body to enter a natural, relaxed state as night approached. Stress levels were another hidden factor. While cave women faced life-or-death challenges, they were largely free from the psychological stressors that modern humans experience, such as work deadlines, social pressures, and constant notifications. Their stress was physical and situational, not chronic. The combination of physical fatigue, secure shelter, and supportive community created an environment where stress hormones like cortisol naturally diminished at night, promoting restorative sleep. In contrast, elevated stress in modern humans often delays sleep onset and fragments sleep cycles. Furthermore, temperature, diet, and activity were interdependent. After exertion in cold conditions, the body required energy to maintain core temperature, which was replenished through high-calorie, nutrient-rich meals. Following this, the body gradually cooled, aided by restful positioning near furs or the fire's warmth, creating optimal physiological conditions for deep sleep. Modern humans, insulated from environmental challenges, rarely experience these natural thermal fluctuations that enhance sleep depth and quality. Cave women also benefited from adaptive sleep strategies. Seasonal variation in activity and food availability influenced the timing and duration of rest. During harsh winters, longer nights and scarce food encouraged extended sleep periods, conserving energy and preserving body heat. Summer's longer days prompted shorter, more segmented sleep aligned with heightened activity and resource abundance. These seasonal adaptations reinforced robust sleep cycles and maximized survival, showing an intuitive understanding of energy management that modern humans struggle to replicate. Finally, community and social interactions enhanced sleep indirectly. Shared responsibilities, collective hunting, and collaborative care for children created a predictable rhythm to daily life. Knowing that others were tending to essential tasks while they rested gave cave women confidence and safety, reducing vigilance requirements and allowing for deeper, less interrupted sleep. This combination of physical exertion, proper nutrition, environmental harmony, and social stability produced a sleep quality far superior to the fragmented, stress-influenced rest common today. In conclusion, the exceptional sleep of cave women was no accident. It was the result of an intricate combination of natural circadian rhythms, environmental synchronization, intensive physical activity, nutrient-dense diets, seasonal adaptation, and supportive social structures. Together, these elements created a restorative, energy-efficient sleep system that allowed our Ice Age ancestors to recover fully, remain alert, and thrive in a harsh, unpredictable world. Modern humans may have comfort and technology, but in many ways, we've traded the natural cues and holistic practices that once ensured the deepest, most effective sleep. In the frozen expanse of the Ice Age, fire was far more than a tool. It was the silent guardian of warmth, safety, and ultimately, sleep quality. For cave women, a well-maintained fire transformed a frigid, inhospitable environment into a haven where restorative sleep was possible. The mastery of fire was not incidental. It was a carefully honed skill, vital to survival. Without it, the cold would seep through even the thickest layers of fur, and sleep would become restless, shallow, or dangerously interrupted. The preparation for fire began long before nightfall. Cave women collected dry wood, moss, and kindling, carefully assessing moisture content and combustibility. Flint stones or hardened bone implements were used to create sparks, a skill that demanded precision and experience. Lighting a fire in the damp or icy conditions of winter required intimate knowledge of materials, airflow, and flame behavior. A poorly managed fire could fizzle, leaving the group exposed to frostbite or predator attacks. Conversely, a steady, radiant fire provided a core around which warmth, safety, and psychological comfort could flourish. Fire did more than simply generate heat. Its flickering glow created a safe, comforting microenvironment within the cave. Shadows danced on the walls, forming familiar patterns that reassured the mind. This visual and emotional comfort helped reduce nighttime vigilance, allowing the body to relax fully. Modern studies on sleep psychology show that low, warm light before bedtime can stimulate melatonin production and signal the brain to transition into sleep. Cave women experienced this effect naturally, with every ember acting as both heater and hypnotic cue for restful slumber. Temperature regulation around the fire was another subtle, yet powerful advantage. Stone floors and cold air could draw heat away from the body, but strategic placement near embers and insulated sleeping areas created an ideal thermal gradient. Cave women instinctively understood how close to sit or sleep, how to shield themselves with furs, and when to stoke the flames to maintain a steady, comfortable warmth. This dynamic control of microclimate meant that sleep could occur in deep, uninterrupted cycles, even as sub-zero temperatures raged outside. Fire also played a protective role against predators. The presence of fire signaled danger to animals like wolves or large cats, reducing the likelihood of nocturnal intrusions. This sense of safety directly impacted sleep quality. Modern humans rarely need to consider predator threats, yet the underlying principle is the same. Security, both real and perceived, is a prerequisite for deep restorative sleep. Cave women's careful maintenance of fire ensured that physical danger did not intrude into what was otherwise a vulnerable state. Beyond physical warmth and safety, fire contributed to communal and emotional well-being. Cave women gathered around flames to share knowledge, prepare food, and exchange stories. These social interactions reinforced trust, reduced anxiety, and created predictable routines, key factors in sleep hygiene. When night fell, the group's synchronized schedules, coupled with the comforting firelight, allowed each member to relax fully. Sleep became a shared, culturally reinforced behavior, intricately tied to both survival and community cohesion. Fire's influence extended to practical tasks that indirectly enhanced sleep. Cooking near flames converted raw game into more digestible, calorically dense meals, ensuring the body had sufficient energy to maintain warmth throughout the night. The act of preparing and consuming food near fire also contributed to a natural wind-down routine, signaling to the body that the day's labors were complete and it was time to rest. Even the rhythmic sounds of crackling embers could act as a natural lullaby, fostering relaxation and readiness for sleep. Interestingly, fire allowed for sleep adaptation to environmental extremes. In the coldest winters, cave women would stagger activity around the fire, some tending flames, others preparing food, and still others resting, ensuring continuous heat and protection. This adaptive rotation maximized both safety and sleep efficiency. Modern humans, insulated from environmental challenges, often overlook the subtle interplay between activity, energy conservation, and sleep readiness that fire so naturally facilitated for Ice Age communities. In conclusion, fire was far more than a source of warmth. It was an integral part of a sophisticated sleep ecosystem. By providing thermal comfort, security, emotional reassurance, and a communal anchor, fire enabled cave women to achieve restorative sleep even in the harshest conditions. The mastery of fire illustrates a profound understanding of environmental engineering, social coordination, and behavioral adaptation, principles that allowed these early humans to thrive where survival was anything but guaranteed. While fire provided warmth and safety, shelter was the cornerstone of Ice Age survival. For cave women, choosing the right cave or constructing a secure dwelling meant the difference between restorative sleep and a night of shivering and danger. Shelters were never chosen randomly. They were meticulously selected based on protection from wind, stable ground, proximity to water, and defensibility against predators. Even subtle environmental cues, like the orientation of the cave entrance toward the sun or away from prevailing winds, were noted and utilized. Natural caves offered advantages such as insulation from harsh winds, snow, and rain. But cave women did not rely solely on raw formations. They enhanced these spaces with human ingenuity. Mud, rocks, and layered animal hides created windbreaks and insulated microenvironments. Sleeping areas were lined with moss, furs, and softer bedding materials, raising body temperature during long, freezing nights. These adjustments were not merely for comfort. They directly improved sleep quality, maintaining core temperature and preventing hypothermia. Beyond the cave itself, cave women used the surrounding environment strategically. Natural sun-exposed slopes were used for drying food, keeping supplies warm, or preheating hides. Rocks and boulders could serve as barriers against wind gusts or predators. Observation of seasonal changes, snow accumulation, and animal tracks informed decisions about when and where to seek shelter. Such acute environmental awareness not only ensured survival during storms, but also allowed for uninterrupted sleep by minimizing nighttime disturbances. The integration of fire, clothing, and shelter created a multi-layered thermal ecosystem. Furs trapped heat, shelters prevented its loss, and fires maintained ambient warmth. Cave women positioned themselves optimally within the system, ensuring that their bodies experienced minimal thermal stress during sleep. Modern humans often rely on artificial heating, insulated bedding, and climate control, yet cave women achieved a comparable effect using only natural resources and ingenuity. Social dynamics also influenced shelter use. Larger caves allowed for communal living, with multiple cave women sharing fire maintenance, childcare, and protective duties. This cooperative approach reduced the need for individual vigilance, creating a safe environment for sleep. Even sleeping arrangements reflected this strategy. More experienced members might occupy positions near the cave entrance or fire, while younger or smaller individuals slept closer together in insulated sections. This careful orchestration maximized both safety and restfulness. Shelters also facilitated energy conservation, a critical factor in sleep quality. By remaining in well-protected microenvironments, cave women reduced the energy expenditure needed to maintain body temperature. Lower metabolic stress meant that the body could allocate resources towards cellular repair, memory consolidation, and immune function during sleep. In essence, the shelter acted as a passive energy regulator, turning environmental adversity into an opportunity for physiological restoration. Moreover, cave women adapted shelters seasonally. During the harshest winters, they reinforced entrances with additional layers of hides or constructed lean-tos outside for working in relative safety. In milder months, caves could be ventilated to prevent dampness and improve comfort. This dynamic use of the environment demonstrates an intuitive understanding of thermal management and seasonal adaptation that modern humans rarely replicate in their artificial dwellings. Caves also played a psychological role in promoting sleep. A consistent, secure sleeping location reduced anxiety and enhanced routine. The presence of familiar landmarks, combined with the comforting glow of a fire, created a predictable and safe environment. Predictability and routine are now well-known pillars of sleep hygiene, but cave women achieved them instinctively, using the natural world to establish rhythms that synchronized body and mind. Finally, the knowledge transfer of shelter strategies ensured that each generation benefited from accumulated wisdom. Older cave women taught younger members how to select optimal caves, position bedding for warmth, construct windbreaks, and maintain fire safety within enclosed spaces. These lessons reinforced community bonds, encouraged teamwork, and ensured that sleep quality remained consistently high across generations. In summary, shelters were not passive structures. They were active components of a holistic sleep and survival system. By combining environmental mastery, structural enhancement, communal living, and seasonal adaptation, cave women created safe, warm, and psychologically comforting spaces that enabled restorative sleep. Fire, clothing, and shelter worked synergistically, illustrating the remarkable intelligence and foresight required to endure the Ice Age. Fire and shelter provided warmth and protection, but for cave women, food was the fuel that enabled deep, restorative sleep. In the freezing winters of the Ice Age, the body's caloric demands soared. Without sufficient energy, even the most insulated furs and well-placed fires could not prevent shivering, interrupted sleep, or hypothermia. Cave women understood this implicitly, using strategic hunting, foraging, and food preservation to ensure their bodies remained warm and rested. The dietary approach was highly strategic. High-fat, high-calorie foods, such as fatty meats, marrow, and nuts, provided the dense energy required to maintain core temperature during long nights. Plant-based foods, though limited in winter, were carefully harvested, stored, and sometimes fermented to maximize caloric and nutrient content. This meticulous planning allowed cave women to sustain their metabolism and prevent energy deficits that could disrupt sleep cycles. Food preparation itself became a ritual linked to sleep readiness. Cooking near the fire not only improved digestibility but also created warmth and aromatic cues that signaled the end of the day. Meals consumed close to bedtime were carefully timed to maximize energy availability during sleep. Modern science confirms that late-night caloric intake can influence thermoregulation and sleep quality, and cave women applied these principles naturally, long before the physiology was understood. Preservation strategies were equally important. Drying, smoking, and storing meat or fish ensured that even during snowstorms or extended hunting lulls, the group had reliable access to high-energy foods. These caches were often placed near sleeping areas, allowing minimal movement to obtain sustenance and minimizing exposure to cold. The foresight and organization required to maintain these supplies further strengthened communal bonds and reduced nighttime anxiety, creating an environment conducive to uninterrupted rest. Social cooperation in food management also enhanced sleep. Tasks like hunting, gathering, cooking, and food sharing were distributed among group members. While some worked to secure the next day's provisions, others rested, knowing the group's survival strategy was collectively managed. This division of labor reduced individual stress and allowed each member to sleep without constant vigilance. Safety, warmth, and energy needs were harmonized through teamwork, demonstrating the sophisticated social strategies underlying restorative sleep. Cave women also mastered the timing of activities relative to the environment. Foraging and hunting were typically conducted during daylight hours or in favorable weather, ensuring that energy expenditure was optimized and fatigue minimized. Returning to the shelter with resources in hand allowed for a predictable routine, warming near the fire, consuming a calorically dense meal, and then retreating to layered furs for restorative sleep. The synchronization of daily routines with environmental conditions was a natural form of circadian rhythm management, promoting optimal sleep cycles. Even the structure of meals and hydration played a role. Water sources could freeze overnight, so cave women rationed and preheated water near fires. Caloric intake was balanced with hydration to maintain cellular function and thermoregulation. Every bite, sip, and movement was aligned with survival and sleep optimization. Their lives reflected a dynamic understanding of the intricate connection between energy, temperature, and rest. Interestingly, sleep was not merely passive recovery but an active survival strategy. By securing adequate calories, creating protective microenvironments, and coordinating communal responsibilities, cave women enhanced both cognitive and physical performance for the next day's challenges. Memory consolidation, decision-making, and problem-solving, all critical for navigating Ice Age winters, depended on this careful orchestration of energy and rest. In essence, food, energy, and sleep formed a triad of survival. Fire warmed, shelter protected, and nutrition fueled the body for the cold nights ahead. Cave women intuitively integrated these elements, creating a sophisticated, interdependent system that modern humans might recognize as a combination of nutrition science, environmental engineering, and behavioral psychology, all applied instinctively in a world of snow, ice, and relentless challenges. By the end of winter nights, cave women rested deeply and strategically, their sleep a testament to ingenuity, preparation, and collaboration. What appears simple, a warm fire, a secure cave, a nourishing meal, was in reality the product of generations of accumulated knowledge, observation, and experimentation. Each night of sleep was not only recovery but reinforcement, ensuring that the next day's survival was possible, and that the wisdom of how to endure the harshest conditions could continue to be passed on. By now, it's clear that cave women didn't just survive, they mastered the art of sleep in ways modern humans rarely consider. Chapter 3 explores how their daily routines, environmental adaptation, and natural rhythms allowed them to sleep deeply, efficiently, and restorative, even in the harshest Ice Age conditions. Understanding these patterns offers insights into why a cave woman might have slept better than anyone today. Unlike modern humans, whose sleep is often disrupted by artificial light, electronic devices, and unpredictable schedules, cave women were fully in sync with natural circadian rhythms. Rising with the sun and resting shortly after dusk, their bodies were aligned with the Earth's light-dark cycle. This synchronization optimized melatonin production, hormone balance, and restorative sleep cycles. The absence of artificial light meant that their brains transitioned naturally into deeper stages of sleep, allowing more efficient recovery and enhanced cognitive function for daily survival tasks. Sleep duration and quality were also influenced by seasonal adjustments. During long winter nights, cave women naturally extended periods of rest, conserving energy when daylight was scarce and hunting or gathering was risky. Conversely, during longer summer days, rest periods shortened, accommodating extended activity and food acquisition. This seasonal flexibility allowed cave women to maintain energy balance, preserving caloric resources and reducing physiological stress in alignment with environmental conditions. Another critical factor was environmental control within the shelter. Layers of hides, strategic fire placement, and insulated bedding created microclimates that minimized thermal fluctuations. Maintaining a stable body temperature during sleep is vital for restorative processes, including cellular repair, memory consolidation, and immune function. Cave women achieved this through instinctive use of natural materials, demonstrating an intuitive grasp of thermal physiology long before the science existed. The absence of modern distractions further contributed to superior sleep. Without noise pollution, electronic alerts, or artificial pressures, cave women experienced uninterrupted rest cycles. Even environmental sounds, like wind or distant animal calls, became cues rather than disturbances, signaling safety, prompting alertness only when necessary, and otherwise supporting a calm, predictable sleeping environment. This constant attunement to natural stimuli allowed the nervous system to maintain a balanced state conducive to deep restorative sleep. Interestingly, cave women's social structures reinforced sleep hygiene. Communal living ensured safety through cooperative night watches, reducing individual anxiety. Tasks like fire maintenance, food storage, and predator vigilance were shared, meaning that no one needed to remain alert for the entire night. This collective security allowed individuals to enter sleep cycles without fear, a psychological luxury that modern humans often lack despite technological safety nets. The ritualization of pre-sleep routines also enhanced rest. Even simple actions, gathering furs, arranging bedding, positioning oneself near the fire, served as cues for the body to transition from active wakefulness to rest. These routines, developed over generations, were crucial for signaling the nervous system and maintaining consistent sleep patterns. In essence, cave women naturally practiced what modern sleep science now identifies as effective pre-sleep habits. Nutrition remained tightly linked to sleep quality. Meals consumed near fires provided both warmth and caloric density, allowing energy reserves to be replenished and supporting thermoregulation throughout the night. By strategically timing intake, cave women minimized metabolic stress during sleep, reducing the risk of nocturnal hypothermia and fatigue. Every decision, from meal composition to timing, was interconnected, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of the body's sleep-energy relationship. Furthermore, physical activity during the day contributed significantly to sleep depth. Hunting, gathering, and shelter maintenance required sustained, functional movement, often in challenging terrain. These activities increased cardiovascular efficiency, muscular strength, and overall fatigue, all of which promoted deeper sleep cycles. Unlike many modern humans, whose sedentary lifestyles impair restorative sleep, cave women naturally balanced exertion and rest, aligning activity intensity with optimal sleep benefit. Finally, cave women benefited from predictable sleeping environments and routines. Familiar caves, consistent bedding setups, and communal arrangements created a sense of security. Predictability is a cornerstone of human sleep physiology. Knowing the environment is safe allows the brain to reduce vigilance, promoting uninterrupted, restorative sleep cycles. Cave women optimized these elements instinctively, weaving physical comfort, environmental awareness, and social cooperation into a holistic system that maximized nightly recovery. In conclusion, the combination of natural circadian alignment, environmental mastery, social cooperation, pre-sleep routines, and strategic nutrition created a sleep system that was highly efficient, restorative, and evolutionarily refined. Cave women didn't merely rest. They optimized every factor influencing sleep, allowing them to maintain energy, cognitive performance, and survival capacity under conditions that would challenge even the hardiest modern human. While circadian rhythms and pre-sleep routines were crucial, cave women also relied on environmental mastery to create ideal conditions for sleep. In the freezing ice age, even minor miscalculations could disrupt rest, impairing both physical and mental performance. Fire and shelter weren't just survival tools, they were sleep enhancers, meticulously managed to ensure warmth, safety, and comfort throughout the long, frigid nights. Fire was at the heart of this system. Beyond providing warmth and cooking capabilities, strategically maintained fires created microclimates that stabilized ambient temperature inside caves. Cave women knew precisely where to place logs, stones, and hides to maximize heat retention while minimizing risk. The fire's placement was critical. Too close, and they risked burns or smoke inhalation. Too far, and the warmth wouldn't reach the sleeping area. The flickering glow also offered psychological comfort, reducing nighttime anxiety and facilitating relaxation, a key precursor to restorative sleep. Shelters themselves were carefully chosen and often enhanced with additional insulation. Natural caves offered protection from wind and precipitation, but cave women elevated these shelters by adding layers of animal hides, moss, and even mud to reduce drafts and retain heat. Sleeping areas were often slightly elevated or positioned away from cave entrances, creating zones where temperature remained relatively stable throughout the night. The result was a predictable, safe environment where the body could conserve energy and maintain steady thermoregulation during sleep. These environmental strategies were reinforced by careful daily routines and activity management. Tasks such as collecting firewood, arranging bedding, or repairing shelters were timed during daylight hours to prevent exhaustion and ensure readiness for nightfall. By aligning activity with environmental conditions, cave women conserved energy, minimized exposure to extreme cold, and optimized the body's readiness for sleep. Even minor environmental cues, like the direction of prevailing winds or the angle of sunlight, were considered when arranging sleeping quarters, demonstrating a remarkable observational intelligence. Social cooperation further amplified environmental mastery. Maintaining a fire through freezing nights was rarely a solo endeavor. Cave women worked together, taking shifts to ensure embers remained alive and heat distribution remained consistent. Sharing duties not only safeguarded survival but also allowed individual members to rest fully, knowing that collective vigilance mitigated risks. This interdependence reduced stress and promoted deeper, more restorative sleep, illustrating how social structures were integral to nightly recovery. Predator awareness was another aspect of environmental control. While modern humans sleep safely behind walls and locks, cave women relied on natural barriers, firelight, and social coordination to reduce predation risk. Assigning night sentries, positioning sleeping groups strategically within caves, and using noise or light as deterrents created a sense of security. Reduced vigilance during sleep meant fewer interruptions, deeper cycles, and improved memory consolidation and energy restoration. Temperature regulation was a constant concern. Even small variations in ambient temperature could impact sleep depth, so cave women monitored heat levels throughout the night. They adjusted fire intensity, rearranged hides, or repositioned themselves to maintain optimal warmth. This attentiveness ensured that thermoregulatory demands did not compromise restorative sleep, a principle echoed in modern studies on optimal sleeping environments. Cave women also understood seasonal adjustments. In harsher winter months, fires burned longer, bedding layers increased, and shelters were reinforced to retain as much heat as possible. In milder periods, ventilation improved to prevent excessive heat or smoke exposure. These adaptive strategies ensured that sleep remained restorative regardless of external conditions, reflecting an intuitive understanding of environmental physiology. Even seemingly minor details, like the arrangement of animal furs, proximity to stored food, and direction faced while sleeping, contributed to sleep quality. Proper fur orientation trapped body heat efficiently, while sleeping near but not directly on food caches allowed easy access without compromising hygiene or safety. The cavewoman's sleeping environment was an orchestrated system where fire, shelter, and spatial planning interacted seamlessly to enhance rest. Finally, environmental mastery extended to mental and emotional readiness for sleep. A well-prepared, stable environment reduced anxiety and uncertainty, allowing the nervous system to relax fully. The psychological benefit of knowing that fire would burn through the night, the shelter would remain insulated, and the group was vigilant against threats cannot be overstated. This sense of control and predictability reinforced circadian alignment and deep sleep cycles, highlighting the holistic nature of cavewomen's sleep strategies. In sum, the combination of fire management, shelter optimization, spatial awareness, social cooperation, and environmental observation created sleep conditions that maximized restorative processes. Cave women transformed their surroundings into a sanctuary, allowing deep, uninterrupted sleep even in conditions that modern humans would find extreme. Their mastery of the environment was both practical and intuitive, a testament to the evolutionary refinement of survival strategies over generations. While circadian alignment and environmental mastery were critical, cavewomen's diet and social dynamics played an equally important role in achieving deep, restorative sleep. Food intake, timing, and cooperative living were not just survival tactics. They directly influenced sleep quality, energy balance, and cognitive performance in a harsh, frozen world. Cave women understood, instinctively, the link between nutrition and sleep. High-calorie meals, particularly those rich in protein and fat, were consumed strategically to sustain energy through long, frigid nights. Fatty meats and nuts provided slow-burning energy that maintained body temperature during sleep, preventing hypothermia and minimizing metabolic stress. Even the timing of meals was aligned with natural rhythms. Eating near dusk allowed digestion to provide warmth and energy overnight, while avoiding excessive late-night intake that could disrupt rest cycles. Preservation techniques were equally critical. By drying, smoking, and storing food, cave women ensured access to reliable, energy-dense resources throughout the winter. These preparations reduced the need for nighttime foraging, which could disrupt sleep, and allowed the body to enter predictable rest cycles without interruptions from hunger or sudden exertion. Knowledge of edible plants, fatty cuts of meat, and caloric prioritization reflected an understanding of how diet impacted survival and sleep efficiency. Social cooperation amplified these effects. Tasks such as food gathering, fire maintenance, and shelter construction were shared, creating a division of labor that reduced individual strain and allowed more consistent rest. Older, experienced cave women taught younger members how to prepare meals, maintain fires, and manage bedding, passing down generations of survival wisdom. This collaborative system ensured that each group member could rely on the others, reducing stress and anxiety, which are known modern disruptors of sleep. Even communal sleeping arrangements were optimized for warmth and security. Groups huddled together, using combined body heat to conserve warmth and maintain stable temperatures throughout the night. This social thermoregulation not only enhanced physical comfort but also reinforced emotional bonds, reducing psychological stress. A sense of safety, trust, and belonging allowed the nervous system to enter deep restorative cycles with minimal disruption, illustrating the interplay between social cohesion and sleep quality. Cave women also employed modular sleeping strategies. During storms or extreme cold, additional layers of hides and furs were added, while on milder nights, they adjusted bedding for comfort and ventilation. Flexibility in sleep preparation reflected an acute understanding of environmental and physiological needs. Even subtle adaptations, such as positioning by fire or away from drafty entrances, demonstrated a sophisticated approach to optimizing sleep conditions for both warmth and safety. The cumulative effect of nutrition, social cooperation, and environmental mastery was profound. Cave women achieved sleep efficiency and depth that modern humans, despite advanced technology, often struggle to replicate. Every action, from meal timing to group organization, was integrated into a holistic system that maximized energy restoration, cognitive performance, and survival readiness. Additionally, the mental and emotional aspects of sleep were carefully nurtured. Storytelling, communal interactions, and shared routines created a psychologically safe space. Reducing anxiety and stress is a known factor in achieving restorative sleep, and the cavewoman's daily rituals inherently address these needs. By combining predictable routines, resource security, and social support, cave women created a comprehensive sleep support system that was both practical and evolutionarily advantageous. Interestingly, Cavewoman's approach to sleep highlights a principle often lost today. Sleep is not isolated from lifestyle. It was interconnected with movement, diet, social engagement, and environmental awareness. Physical exertion during the day promoted deep sleep at night. Nutrient-dense meals supported energy conservation. Communal routines reinforced psychological safety, and careful shelter and fire management ensured thermal stability. Sleep was the culmination of an entire day's strategy, optimized for survival, health, and efficiency. In conclusion, the cavewoman's sleep system was a marvel of integrated survival intelligence. By combining circadian rhythm alignment, environmental control, nutrition, social cooperation, and adaptive routines, she maximized restorative sleep in conditions that would challenge any modern human. Her approach demonstrates that quality sleep is not merely about comfort or bedding. It is a holistic practice woven into every aspect of life. Understanding these strategies gives us profound insight into why cave women, often underestimated as boring, slept better than anyone today. Their lives remind us that optimal sleep emerges from the integration of body, mind, environment, and community. Lessons that remain relevant even in our technology-driven modern world. After exploring the daily life, environmental strategies, and social systems of Ice Age cave women, one thing becomes crystal clear. They were masters of survival and sleep. Every aspect of their day, from hunting and food preservation to fire maintenance and shelter optimization, was intricately designed to maximize energy restoration and ensure safety. Sleep was not a passive activity. It was the culmination of strategic planning, environmental awareness, and social cooperation. Cave women aligned their circadian rhythms with natural light, optimized shelter layouts, maintained fires for warmth, and ate nutrient-dense meals, all while fostering strong social bonds that reduced stress and enhanced security. Even minor adjustments in bedding, fur orientation, or group positioning had measurable effects on sleep quality. In essence, their entire lifestyle revolved around creating conditions for deep, restorative rest in one of the harshest climates Earth has ever seen. Modern humans can take note. While we rely on mattresses, blankets, and temperature controls, the cavewoman's approach reminds us that true sleep mastery is holistic. It integrates mind, body, environment, and community. So the next time you struggle to sleep, reflect on these lessons. Alignment with natural rhythms, preparation, and cooperation can make all the difference. In their frozen world, cave women slept better than anyone, and their secrets still inspire us today.